So there are five primary lobes to the brain. We can see four from the outside. One is found inside, so insular. But the front is called the frontal lobe. So here we have the anterior surface, here we have the posterior. So the one on the anterior surface is the frontal lobe. Then we have the parietal lobe on the side, under the parietal bone. Occipital lobe is the one that's at the back. And then finally, we have the temporal lobe. Okay, so frontal, parietal, occipital, and temporal. These are all going to be separated from one another by grooves. We're going to call these grooves a sulcus, or plural is sulci. So sulci is just a plural of sulcus. So we have the central sulcus, which separates the frontal and parietal lobes. We have the lateral sulcus, which separates the frontal, parietal, and temporal lobes. And then we have the parieto-occipital sulcus, which is going to separate the occipital lobes from the parietal and temporal lobes. Okay, now separating the two hemispheres of the brain, so separating the left and right hemispheres, we have the longitudinal fissure. So if the lines are sulcuses or fissures, the raised portions are going to be called a gyrus or gyri. Okay, now different gyri or different gyruses are going to be used for different things, or we can find more of some things located in particular places. We can also see some of the brainstem structures here, but we can see them better from this direction. So we of course have the brainstem, and then we have the spinal cord here. The bottom of the brainstem is going to be called the medulla oblongata. So notice we have this kind of olive shaped region here. So this is our medulla oblongata, and no, it does not make alligators angry. Here we have the pons. So the pons is so named because it's acting like a bridge, bridging together higher order brain functions in the cerebral cortex, and then finally lower order brain functions in the brainstem. And then finally, we have the midbrain in this kind of central region right here. So this is the midbrain. So this is kind of the main sort of exterior features. Now we can still see the frontal lobe, we can still see the temporal lobe, occipital lobe here. We can also see all these yellow structures. All these yellow structures are the cranial nerves. So these are the cranial nerves. These are going to be sources of nervous input and output to the brain other than the spinal cord. So these things kind of all bypass the spinal cord. However, their reflex centers are going to be found here in these little dollops here. These are the mammillary bodies. So these contain reflex centers for the cranial nerves. We can also see the pituitary gland here. This thing is very, very important in helping us regulate hormones and stuff like that. And then finally, we have the cerebellum. The cerebellum is one of our other brain regions. This is going to be very important in linking together all of your skeletal muscle activity, regulating and controlling it, making sure things are working together. So that's what our cerebellum is going to do. The cerebellum can also be seen from the inside, where we can see all of this white matter here. All the white matter on the inside of the cerebellum is going to be called the arbor vitae, or the tree of life. Notice that it does kind of look like a tree. And then finally, our last main brain region is the diencephalon. The diencephalon is going to contain several structures.